Oh hi, thanks for watching my video. So every now and then I like to make a little video talking about various storylines that I like to play in The Sims 4 to add a little spice into my game. So that's what we're going to do today. This video will have storylines that include mods. All of the mods I mentioned will be linked in the video description if you want to add them to your game. And I'm sure some of these could be replicated without mods for console players. I do have a storylines video that doesn't include mods at all, which I'll link in the white box at the top of the screen now if you want to watch that one. But for now, let's get into it. The Occult Takeover. The world is about to drastically change. That is, if this alien named Alrak gets his way. He dreams of a world where aliens like him are easy to come by, a world where there is no stigma attached to being an alien. So he comes up with a plan. This is a big task, but it can be done with time. The mission you have is to get your alien out there and impregnate as many Sims as possible, kind of like bringing back the old pollination technician job, with the ultimate goal of making as many alien Sims as possible. This challenge isn't about making every sim related, so if you wanted to, you could use more than one alien to do this, but I would recommend using aliens that can impregnate others. With enough commitment, you might just end up with a world full of alien sims, whether they be full aliens or hybrid aliens. They have well and truly taken over the world, even with other occults like vampires, mermaids and spellcasters. They too will have hybrid alien babies. When you get to that point, you have truly taken over the world. How does it feel? Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. Next up, Devil Child. This here is Jess. Seems pretty sweet, right? Adorable little package. Well, actually, Jess is a little shit. Jess grew up with all of the privileges in life. She didn't really have to work for anything. Her parents are hard workers and they've acquired quite an estate. But Jess is coming into the age now where she's hit puberty, she thinks she knows everything, and she's decided that she wants to be the head of the house. So she decides probably the best course of action would be to put her parents' future in her hands. And by that I mean take their future away. Jess is a sim on a mission to take out her parents so she can have the inheritance. This little bitch is gonna try everything she can, whether it be putting flammable objects in front of the fireplace, locking the bathroom door so only she has access to it, and then throws a party in the hopes that one of her parents pisses themselves and dies of embarrassment, gets herself in a bad mood and decides to serve up some pufferfish in the hopes that it would have fatal consequences. Jess's entire life's mission is to put her parents 6 feet under, at whatever cost. And that's part of the challenge here, is if you play this without mods or cheats, you're gonna have to get creative to find ways that this sim can kill off her own parents. Maybe you want to take it one step further, beef the storyline out. Maybe even have Jess set up her dad with her teacher to try and give her mum the death of a broken heart. Just really go crazy with it, guys. Make it your own. Yeah. The Devil Child. Next up, Trashbag Teen. This guy here is Cameron, and he's a lazy fuck. He doesn't take life too seriously. He doesn't worry about school. That's probably why his grades are plummeting. But he doesn't mind. Most of his friends have part-time jobs so they can contribute towards their households, but not Cameron. He doesn't want a job. He just wants to dick around playing with his balls. But one night, he goes to a teen party and loses his virginity. He's feeling pretty good about it. He brags about it to all of his friends until shit hits the fan. He bumps into the girl he shacked up with one day at school, and she tells him that she's pregnant. Unlucky. Cameron is not ready to be a dad. He can barely muster up the strength to watch cartoons whilst eating cereal out of a Pyrex jug. He is nowhere near ready. He just looks her in the face and tells her he's not interested. His parents hear the news and tell him he needs to get his act together or they'll kick him out. Cameron locks himself in his room for days. He feels safe in there. In his room, he can watch TV and play with his balls all he likes. 5 days pass, and Cameron is still sulking in his room. leaving only to retrieve snacks and wash his hands. But all that prodding and scratching have left quite the rash on Cameron's balls. So eventually, he had to go to the doctor. It was the first time he'd left the house in a while, and after picking up his friction burn cream, he decides to clear his head and go for a walk in the park. A small toddler completely coincidentally runs over to him, and he recognises her eyes. The revelation that no one could see coming is that she is actually Cameron's kid. He feels a strong connection to this kid, probably because she's his, I suppose. But this is his turning point. Cameron decides today is the day he steps it up. No more moping in his room, no more playing with his balls all the time. Now he wants to be a dad. So he runs over to the girl's mum and tells her all this, but she tells him to fuck off. This is actually where most of the gameplay starts. I know it took a while, but what can I say? I'm passionate about backstory. So Cameron goes home, he gets a job, he starts taking life a bit more seriously, and eventually starts having visits with his kid. It's up to you where you take this, but I like to have Cameron work his way up to getting his own place and having his kid stay over every few days so that he can teach her things. Yeah, Trashbag Teen. Moving on. Just a little spliff. This one is more of a lifestyle than a storyline. This is Bria, and Bria loves to get baked. It's her favourite thing in the world. If you haven't installed base mental drugs, give it a go. See how you feel. Wake up in the morning, just a little spliff. Cheeky bit of gardening, just a little spliff. Go on a mountain hike, just a little spliff. If there's anything I've noticed about The Sims 4, it's that jobs are boring. Jobs in The Sims 4 are such a snorefest. My sim disappearing for hours and leaving me behind to stare at the wall of their home really doesn't do it for me. I don't know what they're doing. They could be living a whole other life at work. They could be shagging their boss for all I know. I don't like it. I like honesty in The Sims. So I like to try any opportunity I can to have my sim make some money at home or at a place where I can follow them. And one of my favourite ways to do it is by becoming a drug dealer. It's always more fun when you grow your own. Establish some good relationships with your neighbours, maybe form a club, give them some weed, hold a get-together, have a little spliff, and bake some cakes. Pretty short and sweet, that one, really. Then we have the arrangement. This here is Pedro, and Pedro is a party animal. I mean it, guys, he is party crazy. He loves getting wasted and throwing some serious shapes on the dance floor. Pedro is pretty happy with his life and doesn't really want anything to change. Here's the problem though, his parents are very strict, and arranged marriages are a huge part of their family traditions. So they decide to take action and force him into an arranged marriage to some chick he doesn't even know. You can just use MC Command Center or create a sim to add the marriage relationship. Point is, his new wife is a complete stranger. He doesn't know who she is. For all he knows, she could be the type who doesn't think cereal is a valid dinner option. Or she might expect him to put his pants in the laundry basket. You know, some real sick shit like that. Maybe she gets a kick out of hiding the TV remote. She could be completely sadistic like that. He doesn't know. The key element of this storyline is that this married couple do not know each other, and the whole point of this playthrough is to see if they can find common ground and if they can develop real feelings for each other. Can they? That's for you to decide. Next up, Rotten Egg. This is Julia, and Julia was born to be bad. There is nothing she loves more than other people's misery, and her entire goal in life is to become public enemy number one. She works in the political career and intentionally tries to start drama everywhere, just for a laugh. The world around her is full of despair, everyone hates her, and it's just such a lol fest. She won't work on any good cause without a hefty bribe, and she often turns up at other Sims' houses to start some shit. Not only socially, but with her impressive kleptomaniac skill, she rarely leaves a Sim's house empty-handed. Her hobbies include trolling the forums, farting near other Sims having a meal, and giving out fist kisses at nearby protests. The ideal outcome here is to have a sim that's at the top of the politics career and also brings a negative vibe to every place she goes. I want sims who are having a good time to suddenly have a bad time the minute this sim walks into the room. How bad can you make this baddie? Well, that's up to you. The rotten egg. Taking a more wholesome turn with the love story of a lifetime. Usually when I play as sims who are together, they start dating as young adults and then things typically move pretty fast after that. But sometimes I like to treat myself with a good old school sweetheart story. This is Amelie. She's a good kid who loves going to school, mainly because it means she can hang out with her best friend, Lily. The pair are inseparable, always having sleepovers, playing in the park together, and going on adventures. Even as teenagers, they are still joined at the hip, always hanging out at the mall, staying at each other's houses, gossiping, and loads more. But it's in the teenage years that Amelie realises something. She's always loved Lily, but that love has started feeling different. One day, the pair were hanging out together, just like every other day, I suppose. And before they said goodbye, they gave each other a hug, as usual. But this time, they had just a little kiss. You can kind of tell where this is going. You can play through their relationship through the various stages of life after this, from high school sweethearts to college partners to becoming adults and maybe starting a family. It's just nice every now and again to play through a love story like this. Next up, the worshippers. I'm guilty of indulging in a cheeky bit of polygamy in The Sims. I guess probably because I'm generally a family gameplay simmer, I tend to find it quite enjoyable to explore different types of family setups. But this story isn't just about polygamy. No. This one is about making a huge family of worshippers. Thanks to the rambunctious religions mod, you can have your Sims become religious, read the holy book, go to church, pray, and loads more. There are a few ways you could play as a huge family of worshippers, but my personal favourite is to have my family subscribe to the religion of worshipping the Watcher, i.e., me. Yes, that's right, I made my Sims worship me. I sent them off to spread the word of my glory in order to multiply my followers. I put pictures of myself around my Sims' home and made them view my image several times a day. It's the perfect storyline for leaders with a god complex. Why not try to convert the townies of Willow Creek and make an entire world of worshippers? I mean, go crazy. Treat yourself. Another one? Okay. Freddy Fabulous. Freddy has always had a passion for fashion. Even as a kid, his go-to outfit was the most brightly coloured princess dress. He always dreamed of a successful career in fashion. As a teenager, Freddy got himself a part-time job to scrape together enough money to pay for a sewing machine, which you can get from a mod that I'll link in the description of this video. Freddy's dad, however, was not happy with his recent purchase. He always thought Freddy would grow out of wearing dresses, and the purchase of the new sewing machine suggested that this wasn't just a phase. Freddy's dad told him that he didn't want his only son working in the fashion industry. He wanted his son to join the army instead. When Freddy refused, his dad kicked him out. Luckily, there was a place Freddy could go. His older sister had already moved out and let Freddy stay with her. Living away from the judgment of his dad allowed Freddy to embrace his passion, and he even started making money from selling his creations after listing them on Plopsy. Once Freddy was done with school, he started working his way up in the fashion career, whilst also doing his sewing side gig. He has his sights on getting himself a swanky, colourful pad in the big city. And you can play through his journey to get there. Yeah, Freddy Fabulous. And finally, we have unconventional builds. And by that, I mean builds that aren't already in the game. This one isn't a storyline, but I do like to have some kind of build challenge in here somewhere which can be used to aid your storytelling. Some people like to play The Sims just to make builds, and I want to include you guys in here too. Try making builds that don't already exist in the game, Admittedly, this is easier if you have a PC because you can use custom content, but the possibilities are endless. Use theme park items to make a functional fairground so your Sims can have some family fun. Download some arcade machines and create a neon arcade for the teens to hang out in. The Sims museums are pretty boring, aren't they? Why not make a museum for the odd and obscure, featuring the cow plant, voodoo dolls, haunted paintings, or possessed skeletons? There are loads of ways that you could replicate lot types in the real world in The Sims 4, so give it a try. I would love to know in the comments what unconventional builds you've made in The Sims 4. And those are my 10 storylines. Well, 9 storylines and 1 challenge for The Sims 4 that might make your game a bit more fun to play. What do you think of my suggestions? Have you already played through some of them? I'd love to know in the comments. But for now, that's it from me. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, you know I love it when you do that. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.